Hello, everyone out there. Just thought I'd say good morning. Why not? And talk about what we got going today at the Boys for College Football and kind of run through the rest of my morning routine. I got most of it done, but I got a few other things to deal with and to take care of before we really work through the day. And it's a long, long day here at the Boys for College Football. Appreciate everyone who is saying hi on a Wednesday morning. Yeah, it's a surprise. Why not? Hey, again, just thought I'd say hi. Had a number of things on my mind to run down. I guess the first thing would be that we got a show at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we got the Ohio State show with Steve and Tony. So keep that in mind. That's at 11 Eastern. We got the Ole Miss show today with Leanne at 2. I've got our regular college football show, the college football show, at 4. We've got our Miami show at 7 with Cam Underwood. We've got our recruiting update show and portal transfer update with Leanne at 8:30. We got our show with Matt and Ethan. That's coming up at 10 Eastern. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows to do today. So it's a busy day on a Wednesday. Hi, Karen. How are you? Hey, Bill. Good to see you. Well, I appreciate it, Bill. Don't expect anything spectacular here. This is just a whim. It's just a whim. And going through the rest of my morning routine here and just thought I'd say hi. I've got some thoughts about the college football playoff, and I have just not had any time to produce videos this year. I was going to count up the number of videos I've done this year because it is minuscule compared to previous years, and that's one of the reasons why the channel's kind of in comatose. But just too many things going on, too many other priorities, unfortunately. But I would like to produce a video here in the next couple of days about what is going on with the college football playoff and all the talks in Texas, because I think I have at least a framework of a plan, because some people want these teams to earn their way into the playoff, meaning wins and losses, and other people say just select the best teams, the most talented teams. I think I have not the perfect plan, but I've got something that can kind of merge both of them, and hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me know. Hey, Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. I am mailing one out hopefully today, a signed copy. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. It was a joy to write. I would like to write more. I'm going to be on Tony Gerdeman's show. It's actually Tom Orr's show that Tony Gerdeman is filling in for. I'm going to be on that show, I think, this morning. We recorded yesterday. So I have felt like I've been in a fog for about a week. And I hate to ever say that I'm sick because I don't get sick. But man, it was some combination of something. And man, I have just been dragging for like a week. Not used to that. So got a nice, beautiful morning. Talk to all of you. A lot of shows coming up today. We want to do a coaches rankings that we do each and every off season as well. You've never seen me standing before. Yeah, I am able to stand. I bleed orange. Good to see you. And we'll do a little protein here. So yeah, we did program rankings a couple of weeks ago on the big show, and we're going to do coaches rankings. So I think today I'm going to show you the coaches rankings from last off season And you guys can hit me up on your thoughts about last off season's coaches rankings, and we'll see how much they've changed. I got to say, the first two names that come to mind when ranking coaches is obviously Ryan Day, because he just won a national championship and he's got the best record in the sport, and Kirby Smart, because during the last few years of Nick Saban, and now that Nick Saban's gone, Kirby Smart has largely been considered the best coach in college football. But I kind of find it difficult to rank either one of those guys as the number one coach in college football, because one of them can't beat their rival, and the other one can't get control of his players. So it's kind of hard to rank either one of them as the number one coach in college football, but I don't know who that would be. Is there anybody else who has a right to be called the best coach in college football besides those two guys? Yakov. Man. Like I tell people from time to time, worst shape of my life, but we're hopefully going to change that. But good to see you, Yakov. Good to see you. And if you've got any interesting questions from days gone by, then I'm always ready for some trivia. We're going to be doing something with the NFL draft, depending on my schedule. And I hate to spring it on you last second, but either we'll go live during the NFL draft or I'll be on live after the draft. We'll do that on Thursday and Friday. Probably nothing on Saturday. We'll see. Probably Thursday and Friday NFL draft coverage. So should we do a watch party? Mark, is Josh Heupel a top 10 coach? Well, he probably is. I know he's awfully close. I don't know where I had him last year. I had him somewhere in that range. Yeah, I think he's, again, we'll go through last season's rankings during the show today. I'll have to pull those up and find those. But, I had Heupel around 10 last year, if I recall. I think if you look at the last 6 or 7 years in college football, we've seen more great coaches leave the sport to either retire or go to the NFL than any time that I can remember. Okay. Hopefully that's a compliment. Looking like your dad's best friend. Shouldn't blame Kirby for his players' bad driving. I would say I would agree with you if that's one, if that's two, if that's even three. But when it's 25, and I'm not just making up the number, 25, then wow, that's on the head coach. It's on the head coach. And that's one of the great things that Dabo Swinney does. Dabo Swinney knows who he's recruiting. And maybe his recruiting classes aren't top 3, but he knows who he's recruiting. Both from a football standpoint and a character standpoint. Dabo Swinney has a plan. He has a culture. Somebody asked about culture yesterday. I think it was Adam. Asked me about culture yesterday, and the first guy that came to mind was Dabo Swinney. Any one of us would have to live with those players and be in the middle of the locker room and on the practice field every day to really get a good feel for what their culture is. Because to me, the culture looks like, for all the big elite programs, looks like it's pretty much a generic culture of we recruit the best players and buy the best players we can find. And then we develop them as football players. We try to keep them somewhat sane so that they don't go crazy on us and do something stupid, and we win a bunch of games. Dabo Swinney, to me, man, maybe PJ Fleck's got a culture, certainly talks one, and he tries to preach and promote one. So I don't know how much of that is true culture and how much is that his ability to sell it to the rest of us. So I don't want to discount that. But man, I don't look at these programs and think, okay, that culture is so much different than that culture, unless they're bad cultures. But the ones that win seem to be fairly similar, except Dabo Sweeney. I got to give him that credit. He seems to have distinguished his culture from everybody else's. And it's not for everyone. Was that always the case in the early 2000s and before the most talented teams won more? Or I don't know if that means, was that always the case in the early 2000s and before the most talented teams won more? Or was it different? The most talented teams have always won the most. That doesn't negate coaching and culture and development and all of that at all, because you have to have all of it. But you can't develop 3 stars and low 4 stars into championship teams. Now, the best you can do in that regard is be Wisconsin of the 2000s or be Michigan State of the Mark D'Antonio era, and they still had a lot of NFL players. Excuse me if that's being rude. Unrelated to college football, you have a really clean kitchen. Oh, sure. I think we're doing pretty well. What do we have there? Just a few wine glasses that are a little difficult to place in the dishwasher, so they're still sitting there. I'll probably hand wash those, and yeah, there's a lot of this business over here, stuff that I need to make sure that I don't just buy and let sit here. So that's a good reminder. Take those out, put those right there. The slide in the locker room. South Carolina has the most expensive weight room in all the SEC. Somebody brought up facility upgrades the other day, and I think we had about a 20-year span where upgrading facilities and building new facilities was all the rage, and I think it meant a big difference in college football. But now everyone has state-of-the-art facilities. Everyone. Almost everyone, and everyone who has any chance of competing has state-of-the-art facilities. So I don't think anyone's distinguishing themselves at this point in terms of facilities. Ballard's here. Good to see you, Ballard. I saw your email. I will get back to you. Doc, good to see you as well. I really don't know why I'm here. I just wanted to go live and say hi and highlight the day's schedule, and also mention that again, I don't know what the answer is to the lack of production on the Voice of College Football here with the lack of videos, because I just don't have time to produce them like I have in the past, and that has been a vicious cycle of issues with that. I was going to do a count on how many videos. I'll do that for the show this afternoon. Count how many videos I produced this year compared to other years. And it's probably like 20%, especially in the last month or 2 months. I haven't posted any videos, any like original videos. They've all just been live streams. But Yeah, that is certainly the first ingredient. You have to go get talent, and then you have to be able to develop it. I kind of think of it this way, Yakov. Okay, it's about talent acquisition first and foremost. So the talent acquisition would be the first part. And that has so many subcategories to it in terms of building relationships and have a scouting team and to do all those things well and to understand your fit offensively, defensively, special teams, and how you want players to fit your scheme and the type of athletes that you want. So put all that together into talent acquisition. Then once you got the talent acquisition, you bring those guys to campus. And then it's about developing them as people, regardless of how much you care about them as people. You have to develop them in terms of a character and a work ethic, in addition to the football development of this is how we develop your stance in this formation, and this is the right read. These are the right techniques. That's a 3 technique. That all the development involved in creating a football player from a high school player into a whatever their potential is to be a great college player or an impact player, a decent player, a good backup, whatever it is. So that's kind of the second phase, is developing them as a football player, developing them as at least a decent enough character person that they're going to show up, they're going to work, and they're going to contribute to the team. Then the next phase of that seems to be developing schemes on all 3 phases, especially offense and defense, developing schemes that work, that are based on your core philosophy, based on what type of talent you're able to acquire, and you build schemes on both sides of the football. And then the next phase is preparing for each week, each game week, and being better than your opponent, unless your talent is so much better than your opponent, building a game plan and a scheme and an approach to that particular game and a game plan to be able to self-scout and also scout your opponent to enter game week. And that game would be the next phase of a coach's responsibility in terms of getting from point A, talent acquisition, to point Z, winning games. And then the next phase would be in-game adjustments, halftime adjustments, in-game adjustments, your ability to not put together just a static game plan, but your ability to put together a fluid game plan that can be tweaked throughout the game. And then to be able to hopefully win the game and then be able to get your team in the right mindset to repeat it all over again. Like Urban Meyer used to say, celebrate for 24 hours and then you get your next mission. So that's a great example right there. Butch Jones in Tennessee had part of the equation down in acquiring all that talent. Our best examples of that in the last 20 years, Tennessee's been a good example post Philip Fulmer up until just a couple of years ago in playing 500 football or just slightly better than. Butch Jones' best team went 9-4. And then Texas is the poster child post Mac Brown into Steve Sarkisian's first season. They are the poster child of wasted talent. Those are the 2 best examples that I can think of. USC to a certain extent. JC says, I don't think I've ever heard Mark say an ugly word on any of his content. Well, I have, but I'm glad that you are able to say that because it is fairly rare, but I have. So I would not want to misrepresent myself in any way. So anyway, just wanted to check in. I think I'm going to make myself a smoothie, and then we're going to have a lot of shows to prepare for. The first one's coming up at 11 a.m., the Ohio State show. So hope you can join us there on the Ohio State channel for the Buckeye show at 11. And Ole Miss at 2. The college football show at 4. Really want to build up that show. 4 o'clock Eastern every day, Monday through Friday. And the Miami show's at 7. And then we got the recruiting and update show at 8:30 with Leanne Herring. We've got the USC show. Those are all the shows that I'm involved in. And then we got the full lineup with everybody else that I can't even begin to remember. So check out the post that I put on the channel every day that's got all the shows lined up. And again, next thing we're going to tackle is coaches' rankings. It hit me last night as well, as I mentioned a few minutes ago before you may have jumped on, that I think I have some type of solution to the college football playoff format structure. And I think what people are missing in all of this with the college football playoff, everybody's focused on how many teams and seedings. The original component, the component that has to be addressed, that is going to have the most impact on making this fair, making it just, is the schedule. The schedule is going to have a bigger impact than making sure, oh, we got the seedings right, or we got the buys right. You can get those things much easier, and you've got a much better chance of getting those things aligned if the schedule is addressed. So we've got a faction of people out there that say we want to see these teams earn it, meaning wins and losses, meaning I don't consider South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Alabama to be playoff contenders when they're 9-3. If Indiana's 11-1 and we got a slew of 10-2 teams, you got to go with the wins. You have to honor the wins. I respect that opinion. I also respect the opinion of, well, the schedules are so different and the quality of the schedules is so different. You can have a 7-5, 8-4 team that is actually, we could argue, better. We'll never know because they don't play, better than some of these 10-win teams. I totally understand that point as well. So why not move closer toward schedule equity, so we can more fairly and accurately judge these teams and evaluate, and that their records become more and more valid. So that's what we're going to work toward. Steve Dace. So I would have had Steve Dace on this week after the spring game, but I didn't realize until I contacted him that the Michigan spring game was not on television. I think it is this weekend. I got to tell you, this thing with the spring games, I'm the guy that watches every spring game. I have been the guy in the past that has watched every spring game. If on the Big Ten Network, and if I could not watch them live, I would watch them recorded. I was the guy that was watching Ohio State at noon, and then Purdue at 2, and Penn State at 4, and Michigan State at 6, whatever, on a Saturday afternoon in April. I have not watched one play of any spring game, none. I zipped through the Ohio State spring game just because we had a show later that day, and I felt obligated to. But if college football is going to take spring games away from us, then I just have had no incentive. And that wasn't some kind of principled stand that I took. I just naturally fell into, oh, there are no spring games on? Well, there are. I counted them. 12 teams out of 70 in the power conferences televised spring games. 12 out of 70. It's usually more like 55 or 60. So I just checked out. I didn't consciously check out. I just, I guess there's something innately in me that determines, hey, if I'm going to get abused, then I'm not giving them my time of day. Eggs and bacon, that's wet blanket. That's pretty common. Excuse the cough. That's a little bit common. The bacon and eggs for me. I don't have any bacon right now. I only have eggs. No bacon right now. I ran out of bacon a couple days ago, and I figured I should back off of the bacon for a little while. But that's a pretty common. That's probably my most common breakfast is bacon and eggs, and then we've got a few different kinds of healthy cereals that we try to go with. NC State doesn't play a spring game. Texas, USC, Florida State, Iowa. JC, did I attend the Ohio State University? I did not. I am a proud graduate. I'm really not a proud graduate. I'm just a graduate of Kent State University. The stovetop has got some spots on there. I did not cook last night, so I usually like to have a nice clean stovetop, and that is not the case right this second. Did not graduate, nor did I attend Ohio State. Wet Blanket had fun at the Oklahoma State spring game. Nice. Yeah. And if you've seen my mantra for the spring, it's been to have free spring games. And I should not have sprayed this cleaner, because now my throat's all clogged up. Whew. Cleaners have not been good to me recently. Yeah, well, Tennessee, you played Kent State last year. What was that, 71-0? You know how lousy Kent State is and always is. Even though Kent State somehow produces an inordinate amount of NFL players and great NFL players, it's amazing. I posted a short about that. What school has produced 3 Hall of Fame head coaches, has produced a Super Bowl MVP, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, one of the top 3 receiving tight ends in the history of the NFL, and I could go on and on and on and on. One of the top 3 kick returners and punt returners in the history of the NFL. It's amazing. Like, if you match up Kent State and their individual accolades, they might have better individual accolades than some power conference schools. I don't know, Kansas. Yeah, which reminds me, Fitness Golf, that we are going to be here for the NFL draft. And again, I apologize that I can't commit to anything specific right now, but I believe I'm going to have to contact our friends at YouTube TV and get that again. I just canceled it because it doesn't add anything to my life. But I will need that for the NFL draft, I believe. So, yeah. So I think we'll get together for an NFL draft party. If not, we'll go live after the draft. One or the other. We shall see. We shall see. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Mike 3883, good to see you. Lived in Ohio most of my life, JC. I did have a very nice Easter. Had a great Easter with friends. Yes, great church service, and had a whole day of no work. Just went to church, went to dinner, had some other activities that were fun. Absolutely. Yakov says, if you ever return to the great state of Ohio, where would you want to live? Well, I'm most familiar with the Akron area. I've always thought Columbus was a cool location, somewhere outside in the suburbs of Columbus, probably. But I have a good friend who's in Columbus. I've got a good friend, or several, but one in particular in the Akron area. And my sister still lives in the Akron area. All right, folks, I just wanted to jump on here and say hi. I really had next to no purpose except thinking that the content has not been where we'd like it to be. And I don't know when that's going to change because it just hasn't paid off to create the content that we have in the past. So for you long-time old timers, I appreciate your loyalty. But yeah, the amount of content and quality of content we've not been able to deliver this year. That's one of the reasons why we do this show every Monday through Friday at 4 Eastern, is to try to supplement that and just make it easy for us to crank out some content and talk to all of you every day. But again, today we've got in 2 hours the Ohio State show at 11, Ole Miss at 2, the college football show at 4, the Miami show at 7. Then we got the recruiting show with Leanne Herring at 8:30, and we've got USC Live at 10 Eastern, and those are just the shows with me. Check your local listings for the rest of the shows. And again, we're going to do coaches rankings soon, and I got 2 video ideas if I can find some time to crank them out. One involves Brendan Sullivan, former Iowa and Northwestern quarterback, rumored to Michigan. I got some thoughts about that. And number 2, the college football playoff, how to make it as equitable as possible. Okay, everyone, good to see you. See you in a couple hours. Thanks for saying hi this morning. I appreciate it. I plead orange. I'm not answering that question, but I like where you're going there. See you in 2 hours.